there anyway, make no mistake about that. Obviously, you got Kerry then, and unfortunately had to, kind of ruin the mood a little bit there, speaking about Cork. Yeah. But look, Kerry, undoubtedly an A. Like, they won the league, they won the championship, they won Munster, they won everything. Like, they lost to Tyrone in the league, but it meant absolutely nothing in the end. Can't disagree. It's a bit like when we were speaking about Limerick. Like, I mean, they were undoubtedly the best team in the country, and they finally, anyway, broke their mini 8-year famine.
Yeah, famine in Kerry, who would have thought it? 8 years. A lot of people are waiting. 70 years, Mayo. But it's a great achievement for Kerry to win the All Ireland. It's a superb achievement. In fact, like Sean O'Shea, that was a kick for the ages. That game against Dublin, very good kick. Undoubtedly, it's an A, no doubt about it. That Kerry team is absolutely outstanding when you look at it. There is an argument. Like, I spoke to a few Kerry fans recently, and they're saying, without David Clifford, would this team have got over the line against Galway? There's an argument for that on another day. But what impressed me about Kerry, like I said it on your podcast time and time again over the last few years, their defence let them down. Their defence this year was unbelievable. They only conceded 2 goals from play in the whole year between McGrath Cup, League and Championship. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely unreal for this Kerry team. Like, Graham O'Sullivan's an unsung hero. Tom O'Sullivan, why he didn't get an All-Star the Sunday game, who's to know? I don't know why, but he was outstanding. Jason Foley was brilliant. Ty Morley got 5 turnovers at the All-Ireland final, and may I add, crucial turnovers as well when Kerry were under the cosh. Outstanding performance from him. And even when things were going badly in the Galway game, when they were kicking wide after wide, they still only went in a point down. So, that's the sign of a great team with this Kerry team, and they won the game by 4 points when they weren't playing particularly well. That's a sign of a great team. Could Kerry win a few All-Ireland in the next few years? I think they honestly can. I think Dublin are on the way down. Derry possibly could break the duck. I'm looking, Tyrone maybe could come back into it. But other than Tyrone and Derry, I don't see anybody beating this Kerry team. I think this Kerry team will be there for the next few years. They have more players coming through, and Paul O'Shea, for example. David Moore will probably hang up his boots now, but you still have Jack Barry and Dermot O'Connor in midfield. Stephen O'Cumber, who could come in there as well. This Kerry team will be there for the next few years. As much as it hurts me or yourself to say it, well done to Kerry, brilliant All-Ireland achievement, and they will be there for the next few years, no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I do think the whole narrative that they wouldn't have won the All-Ireland or without Clifford, or they would have lost the All-Ireland. Like, look, obviously Clifford's been unbelievable, and if you take him out of the Kerry side, I mean, there certainly is an argument that they wouldn't have won the All-Ireland. But I just think it's such a silly argument because he's there. He played, he won the All-Ireland. He's one of the best footballers in the country, and he's not probably going anywhere anytime soon. So I think it is kind of a bit of a silly argument in some ways. And question is, with Kerry, will they do a Dublin and dominate for a few years, is what Irish Footy Vlog says there. And that is the big topic of conversation at the minute. I mean, it is kind of premature because they just won their first All-Ireland in 8 years. And we see with a lot of teams, like some teams, it takes them a while before they can start building up that domination. Like when Dublin won their first in 16 years in 2011, it wasn't until 2015, 2016 that they finally went on and started to dominate. But it does look, when you do look at Kerry, though, they are perfectly set up to do, I don't think they'll do a 6 in a row, but I think they might win 2 or 3 on the bounce because like a lot of their players are around 24, 25, some of them even younger. You think of the likes of Paul O'Shea and Paul Walsh, who can't even break into the team. So like they have a lot of good options, and they're very well set up to potentially go on and dominate the All-Ireland scene over the next couple of years.
They have, yeah. They have very good structures in Kerry over the next few years now. And Jack O'Connor there, Paddy Talley was an unbelievable coach. If there was an award for Coach of the Year, Paddy Talley would get it hands down. What an impact he's made to that Kerry team. There is an argument as well, and I'm inclined to agree with it. I don't know about yourself, Aaron, but if they played an Armagh or Derry, would they have won the All-Ireland? Like, I know Galway, Dublin, there are some good sides there, but they aren't particularly sides that have defensive systems. Like, this would be the acid test out for Kerry. If they came up against a Derry now next year, who will master the defence, Kerry usually, historically, struggle against Ulster teams. I'm not taking away from Kerry being All-Ireland champions. They are deserved All-Ireland champions indeed. But if they played someone like an Armagh or a Derry or Tyrone in their pomp, would they struggle? Like, that's the big argument with this Kerry team. If they get over the line against those sorts of teams next year, there is an argument to say this has the potential of being one of the greatest teams of all time, this Kerry team. I think there's not a fault really in this team. And even, I forgot to mention him as well, the goalkeeper, Shane Ryan. What a renaissance he's had. Like I remember in 2019, for example, against Cork, like, he was all over the place. Like, Brian Hurley just patted the ball into the back of the net, and he was just frightened to come for the ball, even the Mark King goal. He looks so assured now. His kickouts are unbelievable. Another stat with this Kerry team, they got over 80% kickout win rate in every single game of the championship. That's down to Shane Ryan. He's done absolutely outstanding. Even Joseph Bowley getting rinsed by Brian Hurley last year, and now he's one of the best fullbacks in the country. I think that's down to Paddy Talley as well. He's just completely changed this Kerry team, the mentality of the team. He's done absolutely outstanding. So he deserves huge credit for that. But there is an argument, I don't know, would you agree with it, Aaron, that if they played Derry or Armagh, that would be the real acid test for this Kerry team.
Yeah, I do get your point of view. Like, I think they would have enough to get beyond a Derry and Armagh, especially in Croke Park. But it is a hard one to know, all right, because, you know, like with those physical sides and with how defensive they are, it would be interesting to see if they'd be able to sort of hold their nerve. Like, they did find the way through Galway eventually, it wasn't maybe as overly defensive as a Derry or a Tyrone as we've seen in previous years. But like Sir Klopp says here, in Kerry's best years, they're still beaten by Tyrone, and obviously it was a league game that meant nothing. But like, I do think Tyrone are the side that have the potential to beat Kerry though again next year, because first of all, they beat them in the championship last year. I know Kerry beat them back in 2019, but I think Tyrone's physicalness and physicality and the way that they set up and play, I think they could be maybe one side. Like, as a Kerry fan, if I was a Kerry fan, thankfully I'm not, but if I was, I would say I would be most worried about Tyrone more so than a Dublin or anyone else, because, like, let's not forget Tyrone won the under-20 All-Ireland this year as well, and we will speak about them in more detail a little bit later. But like, I feel like they're maybe the contenders. But you do make a good point. Like, I think, you know, that has been the sort of conundrum for Kerry a lot of the time, has been these Ulster teams.
It has been, yeah, over the last few years. And even think about the Tyrone game last year. Tyrone caught them cold. Even Cork with a mini defensive system in 2020 caught them cold as well. And even in the past, when you look even further, Donegal in 2012, Tyrone in 08, like, there's a lot of examples of Kerry just losing the Northern teams, down in 2010, of course. So that's just how Kerry lose games. But I think I just would be absolutely intrigued with a Paddy Talley coaching Kerry. Will that element of this Kerry team in the Kerry DNA still be there? Like, it'd be interesting to see. I don't think it will be necessarily, because I think he's changed this defensive structure completely. I think he's started from the bottom and he's gone to the top. I think he's done absolutely outstanding with that defensive system. But I think it would be intriguing to see a Paddy Talley defensive system come up against a Tyrone or a Derry or an Armagh or potentially a Donegal in their pomp over the next few years. I just think it would be an interesting thought. It'd be an unbelievable game to behold in Croke Park.
Yeah, and that certainly is something to look forward to, definitely, when